That's right back, Charlie. That's right.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like because you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Yes, we are, Ian. Right, indeed, we're live. People deluded, I'm back again. Big up you lot, whether you're on Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're a part of the furniture and you're not subscribed, what are you doing? Big up the Arsenal perspective. As his comment says, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button on your way in. I must admit, I'm getting quite bored of this transfer stuff. I'm just waiting on a player. I know them lot down the road are getting players, and I hope they will turn out crap and things like that. But yeah, people, it seems like there's been a boost where Thomas Partey is concerned, where Zubiamendi is concerned. Apparently, now the languages he's on joining us. But again, you know, the dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. 99.9% of these rumors are 100% BS, but it is what it is. I can't imagine you're not following Zims Muller, but make sure you're following him on Twitch, people. He makes some great FM content, actually YouTube as well, man. You need to copy and paste your tactics, man. I'm trying to win. Well, we can't win the quadruple anymore. It's the treble settings. We went out to Man City, but yeah, I hope you and everyone else is safe. I hope you and everyone's blessed. I hope everyone's in good spirits. Social joins, again, talking about being part of the furniture, living, breathing proof of it. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit random, yeah, but for you regulars, like that you're always here. It's like, I don't know what you look like, really and truly. It's like, shout out Riley, because he's normally on Twitch. But it's like he followed me on Instagram and I followed him back, obviously. It's like, I don't know what you look like, man. You lot could be anybody and anything, man. Like, you lot put your display pictures up. But I'm good, man. I hope you're doing well and safe. 7 p.m. a video should come out with Tom Canton. Big him up. This morning at 9:30, we recorded something. After this live stream, I'm recording with Art DeRoche. Again, if you're on YouTube, check out the community tab because I've asked you lot for questions. Gone gym and we're live now. So business as usual, really. 1-2 meetings and that. You know, life admin, just keeping it moving, really. Trying to have a great 2024. Journey to 70k subs and live and kicking. A big up you lot in the comments, man. Shout out the regulars and shout out yourselves if you're new. Again, any talking points, questions, etc. Get your thoughts in. I'll hop on one day on a fan call. Now, some of you lot are always asking me, you should have a fan show or call-in show. And I know some other content creators do. I guess we'd have to find a way around it. But like, and I do think it would be good. The vast majority of people that I meet on the internet and we have on our platforms are great. But we all know there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 dickheads, you know, big up tapping toes. But I remember him doing it. And I'm not going to go into it, but someone was revealing their private parts. And it weren't a lady either. Like, again, we're all inclusive on the platform. But you know, I don't really want to see them kind of things there. You know, people will do stupidness, really. So if there's a way to mitigate against that, then we'll get that going, really and truly, man. Because I must admit, on my channel, I'm tired of hearing my voice. Isaac, it's mad. It's mad. Big up tapping toes. But you see what I'm saying? Like, someone's giving up their time, creating a community, and someone's being an idiot, really and truly. It's probably little kids. I mean, I didn't, as a teenager, that therefore weren't on my mind. I don't find them things there funny. If it's a grown man or grown woman, it's crazy, really and truly. But yeah, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Any talking points, questions, etc. Feel no sort of way about getting them in, people. Let's see what the latest headlines are saying, man. Let me not waste you lot's time. Now, I must admit, if Thomas Partey was a movie, me personally, I've seen this movie before. I hope that there's a different ending, but we've seen this before. For what it's worth, though, Arsenal handed major boost with Thomas Partey set to return to action this month after not playing since October due to a thigh injury. Thomas Partey has not played since October due to struggling with a thigh issue. Obviously, that's cost him travelling with Ghana for the Africa Cup of Nations. Spare thought for the Ghanaians. Happy belated New Year's right back at you, man. What do you think you need to add to Arsenal in January? I mean, 1 minute we're broke. We've got issues around FFP and things like that. If in an ideal world, I wake up tomorrow and we find a striker that can get, well, if they signed in January, they're probably not going to get 20 league goals, but someone that's got the pedigree of 20 plus league goals. I do think we need another defensive option. My first choice would be someone of the Tomiyasu and Timber kind of make that can play right back, left back, and centre half. Me personally, I think we need 2 midfielders. It's not going to happen in Jan, but I do. If you could get one, great. I think we need midfielders, if I'm completely honest. I always say this, but whatever you say about Arsenal's attackers and Arsenal's defenders, you know, you've got in the front line, you've got Trossard. Apart from Trossard, which I'm not knocking his age, apart from Trossard, everybody's kind of the right age profile. You've got Jesus, you've got Trossard, you've got Martinelli, you've got Saka, you've got Nelson, you've got Smith Rowe who can play there. Such is the wealth of options, quote unquote. I've probably missed out a couple of names. Defensively, Saliba, Gabriel. Obviously, you've got Zinchenko, you've got Benjamin White. If fit, you've got Timber. Where you look in the midfield for me is where, and again, considering Edu and Arteta were midfielders, it's a bit crazy. As we know, football is won or lost, you know, in the final third and in the defensive third, but it's played in the middle. And I'm not really convinced with our options. Declan Rice, sick. Nothing to say on him. The only he provides good questions. Like, how good can he be? Can he become that number 8? Big up my guy Quinny as well, man. Sent you a DM on Broya earlier. I'm terrible on DMs, man. I'll get around to that, my dude. I don't buy this Broya stuff, if I'm honest with you, but we'll get on to that. But yeah, as I was saying, Declan Rice is the only one that provides good questions. He's durable. You know, he's in his, let's call it mid-20s, so there's longevity there. Past that, I like Thomas Partey. Can he stay fit? Does he have a long-term future at Arsenal? There's questions I can't answer. I like Jorginho, but Jorginho is certain games. You know, for every game he plays against City, Liverpool, or Newcastle, you have them Chelsea first halves, or you have that Spurs mistake. He's not really someone that's going to be here long-term where you could bet on. I actually like him, and I think he's a good guy, but we're not here to be nice guys. We're here to win stuff. He's not here long-term. The less said about Lokonga, the better. Obviously, on ability part is quality, but again, Declan Rice, there's question marks over everyone else. Yeah, you've got the Smith Rowes, the Havertz, and all of them kind of guys, Vieira, that can play in that role. But I'm not really convinced with anything really apart from Declan Rice. Partey is just a sub player. He can't play 3-4 games in a row. Neither can Zini or Tommy. The fact our medical team ain't worked out is annoying. I hear you. To be fair, though, Partey was fit. It was probably an anomaly, but he was fit for 40 games last season, 33 in the league, which is unheard of. I don't know what's happened since then, but boy, we're in issues. And I don't know if I said it, Zims, to go back to your question, but I'd love a winger. And I think, you know, earlier on in the season for Arsenal, when everyone was relatively fit, even though we've had injuries since August, a lot of our talk within our fan base was striker. There was a couple injuries in midfield. Striker talk persists, but it became midfield. Then we had some defensive bodies. It becomes defense. I think they're all of equal importance. We can't do it all in Jan. If anything, I would love a striker in Jan. I think we need a defensive body and a midfield body, or we're in trouble. And definitely, you know, obviously, I do think there's a bit of psychological issues as to why we're not scoring goals. I do think the players just ain't got proven pedigree to bag. But this is where I would like a winger, like a Pedro Neto or someone that, respectfully to Reece Nelson, you know, I think Nelson's a decent player. He's Hayland, I'll support him. Clearly liked by Arteta and whatnot, or he wouldn't be here, but he's literally just a body, you know. If there was ever a time where somebody that's on the peripheral things that plays in wide areas was going to get opportunities, it would be now, really. You're not getting near Martinelli, you're not getting near Trossard if he starts, you're not getting near Saka. So we need a player that is obviously Arteta genuinely thinks could fill in for them, really, because I think we've ran Saka and Martinelli into the ground, and we look at them in the same way we look at what Salah's done or what the experienced players at City, or even to a degree Harry Kane and Son. It's like these are young, volatile players, really. I love the romance with a young manager, young team. We're all growing together and in line with Arsenal's project. That's fantastic. If I take off the project hat and think about winning league titles and things like that, there's certain naiveties that can't be said, really. We need to stop constantly talking about, we need to stop talking about players who are constantly failing us when we need them. That includes getting constantly injured, missing goals, costing goals, or doing dumb passes. Mistakes happen. Problem seems to be our fitness and training routine is not up to standard, hence the injuries. I don't know, man. I'm not privy to it because I guess that's a legitimate comment, but it's one where I can't really comment if I'm not there, really and truly. But we need durable players, you know. Again, if you want to do what Liverpool have done, you want to do what City done, the best quality you can have is being fit, and a lot of these players ain't got that. Big up DG. Once again, DG, if we don't get a clinical striker, it's dream done for us. And I'm sick of it, bro. It's the same cycle over and over again. It's either we got this and they don't got. I hear that, man. You're not alone, man. Again, and this is where I think Arsenal fans, we're going to get caught into that trap of, you know, logically, there's a number of areas we need to address. But if you feel that we need a winger more, a striker more, centre mid or defender more, you're allowed to think that. But they're all of equal importance. And as much as I like what Arteta's done, I have to ask questions of the squad, if I'm honest with you. With the alleged struggle with PFF, who do you think realistically we can get, and what position would you prioritize? Brian, honestly, don't know. Don't know who's available. Don't know who's available on loan. Don't know who's available on a cut price. Honestly, don't have a clue. In terms of position, they're all important because strikers win games. You know, again, it's all ifs and buts. But Arsenal could have all the question marks we've had about Arsenal this month. And again, ifs and buts. This is all hypothetical. But had we have had a striker that's going to put the balls in the back of the net against Aston Villa, against Newcastle, probably against Fulham when we was ahead, but against Liverpool, we might have points on the board. So strikers win games, turns defeats into draws, draws into victory, and ultimately more points on the board. Midfield, God forbid anything happens to Declan Rice, we are in trouble. And how much are we going to see the new look kind of Declan Rice without addressing our midfield as a whole? Defensively, God forbid anything happens to Benjamin White or Gabriel, we're in issues. As someone said, we know Tomiyasu struggles with injuries. We know even Zinchenko picks up a couple calf knocks. So I would probably say I would lean towards the spine. I would rather a striker or a winger, unpopular opinion, but I would say, if anything, let's address the spine. So that would probably be another defensive body and another central midfielder, if I'm honest with you. But yeah, keep your opinions coming. Thomas Partey is finally preparing to make his long-awaited return to first-team action. The Ghana international hasn't played since October after undergoing a procedure to cure a long-term thigh problem. But Partey's recovery is set to accelerate. Partey's recovery is set to accelerate his recovery on the club's current mid-season break. The clash against Nottingham Forest on January the 30th is being penciled as a potential return for the 30-year-old midfielder. How long is he going to be fit, though? Obviously, we just said he's due to miss out playing for Ghana at AFCON unless there's a miracle. So that's that. We have been linked with another striker. I'm not really for it, but we've been linked with Borja Mayoral, who's once upon a time been at Roma, came through Real Madrid system and doing all right at Getafe. A bit like Solanke, having a really standout season, people. We'll look at his statistics in a minute, but for what it's worth, Arsenal have reportedly made a £22 million swoop for the Getafe forward Broja. Fulham and Brentford have also been linked with the 26-year-old. Third choice striker and behind a misfiring midfielder in the pecking order, Eddie Nketiah's future looks bleak. I mean, that's what the headline said. Arsenal reportedly, allegedly, made a £22 million swoop for this Getafe striker. I'm not going to mention that Man United loanee's name because we don't condone what he did, but he's been starring alongside him, quote unquote, and he has 12 league goals, the 26-year-old for Getafe at this moment in time. Allegedly, Arsenal have made the first move as Mikel Arteta looks to sign a striker this month. Is it Perez 2.0? And I mean, I must admit, we should be looking at La Liga generally and finding some talents because this is Mikel Arteta's homeland, really. Ivan Toney was the Spaniard's first choice to galvanise his mid-firing front line, but can we get money? Allegedly, Brentford have slapped a huge £100 million price tag on the 27-year-old. Arteta cast doubt over the possibility of signing a striker after his team's latest poor showing in front of goal. He did say after the Liverpool game, at the moment, it doesn't look realistic. What my job is and what we have to do is improve our players and try to get better results with the ones we have. Some of our players, Gaffer, smash the like button if you haven't, and big up the Twitch ones. It does feel like we're trying to draw blood from a stone, and if certain players are going to go to another level, I don't think it can necessarily happen here. One thing is what we need, and another is what we can do. What we need to do now is stick behind those players, give them some love, train them, and make sure they visualize something very different to what is actually happening right now. They've done it. Fair enough. Allegedly, Arsenal are willing to pay release clause to sign Martin Zubiamendi. We've heard this before. According to Mondo Deportivo, and this is putting me off, people. Let's pause that. Arsenal are willing to meet the release clause to sign Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubiamendi. The Gunners are keen on signing a new midfielder during the current transfer window. Talks were allegedly recently held with the reps of Onana of Everton. Zubiamendi has also been a long-term target for the Gunners, and Mundo Deportivo report that Arsenal are one of the clubs who are willing to pay his buyout clause. Pardon me, don't really believe that. Not necessarily where January is concerned. Maybe the summer's a different thing. The North London Giants are prepared to offer 60 million euros as early as this month, but a potential deal depends on the player, who has been reluctant to leave Sociedad. Allegedly, Arteta tried to sign him 12 months ago, but the 24-year-old made it clear that he wanted to finish the campaign. So a year can change things, but has anything changed? I'm not too sure really and truly, but Zubiamendi would be a target for me. Once again, we're reportedly willing to trigger his release clause, assuming he wants to leave. We have been linked with Andre of Fluminense, Onana of Everton, and previously Douglas Luiz, even though the Douglas Luiz ones have kind of gone quiet. Allegedly, the report claims that the Real Sociedad and the players' reps haven't ruled out Zubiamendi's departure in January, but the player hasn't made up his mind about whether he wants to leave his boyhood club this month. So not making a decision arguably is making a decision, people. So the report says that Arsenal need to convince the midfielder to move to the Emirates Stadium should they eventually opt to trigger his release clause, for what it's worth. So there you have that. Apparently, negotiations are advancing well over a new contract for Tomiyasu. He's edging closer to signing a new contract, Romano has said here. Big up Tomiyasu. I think he deserves it. I'm all for it. Negotiations are advancing very well. There's still something to clarify in terms of structure of the new deal, but Tommy wants to stay. We've heard some rumors from Italy saying Napoli, Roma, and AC Milan are interested. It's true that many Italian clubs were considering a loan for Tomiyasu. Get out of here with this loan crap. If you're not buying him permanently, even though I don't want to sell him, don't waste our time. But Arsenal were very clear in their message because they said there was no chance of Tomiyasu leaving. Big up yourself, Riley. Zubiamendi's very tidy, very much an Arsenal player. What do you think the major tactical difference are in how you play this season versus last? I think there's more of an emphasis. I think it's a lot more scripted, if I'm honest with you, in the attacking third. And other than that, I don't think there's too much of a change, really. I think players are caught higher up the field because a bit more as well, because Declan Rice is in the middle of the park. But I don't think there's glaringly obvious differences. And I'm happy Arteta stopped that whole party right back, dropping Gabriel. He's moving a bit mad with all of those things there, man. So, yeah, man. Morale makes sense if Gabriel Jesus has a serious injury keeping him out long term. Apparently, he's training as we speak in Dubai, so he's going to have to. But I must admit, it does feel like Gabriel Jesus has been injured a lot more in an Arsenal shirt than he has been in a previous City shirt. What was this meant to be? No clue. This must have been something to do with Arsenal, but seems like the page is refreshed, so I won't waste you lot with that. Romano has spoken on several strikers to do with Arsenal. Apparently, people, he insists that it will be difficult for Arsenal to find a striker in the January transfer window with Bologna's Joshua Zirkzee, who apparently Bayern Munich have a buyback clause, is of interest. Eddie Nketiah has interest from many clubs. Crystal Palace are there, but they're not the only ones, though. The complication is that it's not easy for Arsenal at the moment to find a striker on the market for the long term. You reckon? We know how Arsenal work. 2 years ago with Vlahovic, they wanted a striker. He was on their list, but he decided to go to Juventus. Arsenal decided not to panic. They decided to wait and to go for a different strategy and to go for another striker in the summer. They want for the players they want. They are not going to do something they're not 100% convinced about. At the moment, players this is what they're saying. I think people need to proofread what they're posting, are very expensive or not available on the market, like Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen. So I think it's going to be difficult for Arsenal to find a striker. It's not an easy market at the moment. I'm sure Arsenal will try for a new fullback this January, but for a striker, it's not easy. And that's what would be required of them to give the green light for Nketiah to leave. One name linked with Arsenal is Joshua Zirkzee, but I don't have any updates as Bologna are very clear. Joshua will not leave in January, they guarantee. His former club, Bayern Munich, will not decide on the buyback clause now. That's all a discussion for June, not this January. One final, and even if they do, you're not going to get ahead of Harry Kane. And are you going to get ahead of Matthias Tell, who's not ahead of Harry Kane? I don't know. One final point on Arsenal, as some fans have been asking about, is Mikel Arteta having just 18 months left on his contract. At the moment, Arsenal's priority is to focus on the January transfer window and getting better results on the pitch as soon as possible. There's no news on Arteta, but they're not in a rush. They're very happy together. Arteta loves Arsenal, and the club is very happy with him, so there's no rush. All parties are relaxed. I can't see Xavi leaving Barcelona. Ancelotti signed a new deal at Real Madrid. I don't know when Pep is going to keep it moving from City, but you'd imagine Arteta gets a new deal. Allegedly, Crystal Palace attempted to sign Nketiah on loan this month with an obligation to buy in the summer. Towards the end of 2023, Football Transfers exclusively revealed that Crystal Palace had moved to sign the Arsenal backup striker, and the Gunners were open to letting him go in the right circumstances. These circumstances would certainly have included Arsenal signing a replacement for Nketiah before offloading him. However, we revealed that Arsenal had rejected a first offer from Crystal Palace. Now, Football Transfers has learned that Crystal Palace made a loan offer with an obligation to buy in the summer. Arsenal are still not close to signing a striker this window, so any possible sale of Nketiah is off the table for now. The Gunners have shortlisted a number of top strikers, including Vlahovic, Osimhen, and Ivan Toney. All three will be very difficult to sign in January. However, Arsenal are not ruling out the possibility that someone could still arrive late in the window. For that to happen, though, Arsenal need to offload players in order to raise funds and lower the wage bill, which is difficult because it's like we can't buy before we can sell, and we can't sell before we can buy. It comes back to the planning of the squad in the summer, really. And Nketiah earns 100 bags a month. A week, definitely not a month, a week, which is considered too much for a third choice striker. And I mean, big up Eddie Nketiah if he does leave Arsenal Football Club on a couple of trophies, 157 appearances and 38 goals. Unfortunately, in an Arsenal shirt, you're anything but prolific. I've read this too many times to care, but it's just here. Apparently, Arsenal have reignited their interest in Newcastle's Isak. If we can't get certain, man, how are we getting Isak? I'm sure there's an admiration for the guy. Whether Newcastle will want to let the individual leave is another thing, but apparently we're keen on him. You'd imagine that's in the summer. The less said about that, the better. Check out the content from yesterday for that. Arsenal's search for a right back has them examining the possibility of signing a player likened to Liverpool's Trent Alexander-Arnold. You lot talking about here. Sasha Boy, he had me, elite clickbait. A 23-year-old's been linked with a move back to his homeland in PSG. He's forever been linked with Arsenal. He currently plays for Galatasaray. Apparently, Boy has been compared to Liverpool's Alexander-Arnold in terms of his attacking mindset, with his attacking qualities very much shining through for Galatasaray, where he's expected to be little more than a squad filler, but has become an essential part of the team. And we have been linked with Jeremy Frimpong, who I prefer, but a bit like Jeremy Frimpong and Sasha Boy, there's been no talk about defending. And even Trent, big up Trent, wavy player. One of the only players that I wouldn't care about his defending because of what he does in the middle and final third. But we need people who can defend. Don't get it twisted. You know, it'd be lovely to have an attacking kind of fullback. It will help Saka out. I would like to see what we do with Tomiyasu and Timber when they're fit. Which one will play on the left and the right? And will they alternate? Because I think you'd imagine Timber's going to play on the left-hand side and Tomiyasu on the right. But then if Tomiyasu plays on the left and inverts and is a bit kind of conservative, I think Timber and Saka down the right-hand side would be a problem, if I'm honest with you. Once again, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man United are all doing battle to sign my man here, Jeremy Frimpong. Apparently, he's got a release clause in the summer, so he's not moving. And Leverkusen are flying quite high. We already said that with Tomiyasu. Journalist shares what he's now been told about Onana and Arsenal people. We have been linked with João Paulinho, who apparently Bayern Munich are not keen on for this window. Reports have suggested Arsenal is serious about signing Onana from Everton. However, according to Charles Watt, speaking on his YouTube channel, someone tell him to reply to his emails. I tried to bag him for you lot people. This deal isn't as far along as some would have believed. In terms of this month, from what I am told, the reports about intensive talks and that stuff, that's not what I'm hearing. Put it that way. Things could change. I would never sit here and rule it out, but I don't think it's as concrete as you may have thought by reading some of what you're reading. I don't think anybody thought a move for Onana was imminent. What is this said in relation to Arsenal? What's the Mirror saying here? Ramsdale's open to a move. Fair enough. Why wouldn't you be keen on a move? Tomiyasu's contract is advancing. Apparently, we're willing to activate Zubiamendi's release clause. We're pursuing a move for Vlahovic, allegedly. Apparently, the Borja Mayoral talk has been played down. We've refused to deal with anyone trying to buy Tomiyasu and Kirill. Newcastle are making a move for Solanke, which Arsenal have been linked with. Obviously, Ivan Toney has come out and said he wants to stick by Brentford for sticking with him with his betting thing. Again, we can't sign Hato until he turns 18 due to certain Brexit things. We all know we're in Dubai. It's the same old, essentially there, people. What's this? Arsenal are targeting a new striker this month. Is there any new names? So no, this is just a whole lot of nothing, just bare creative journalism. If we come off this browser and go back to Google Chrome, where is it? Don't flop me. And let me share this again with you guys. We can cover some other bits and pieces. Now, where you look at Borja Mayoral, obviously you can play it on the left-hand side. And he's having a great season. 14 goals in 22 appearances, people. You scored in any of the big games? You scored against Real Madrid, fair enough. Scored 2 against Atletico, okay. Capped at under 21s level. But then when you look at it, and again, he's 26, so you could argue now this is when he's hitting his peak. I'm not really convinced on him, if I'm honest with you. But in La Liga, he's got 40 goals and 10 assists and 157. It's hardly that prolific. I'm not saying he's not a good player and he can't be utilized in the squad, but you ain't really got a proven pedigree now, have you? In Serie A, he got 10 in 36. In the Bundesliga, he just struck twice in 19 games. So it's a bit of a myth. And I'm willing to bet that this is probably your best standout season to date. I could be wrong. I don't know you religiously, but he's got 14-12 in the league right now. He got 9 last season. What did you get the year before that? 7 the year before that. 6 in the league. What year is that? So, yeah, it's giving Solanke vibes, if I'm honest with you. Man said it's giving. I'm talking too much Gally, but 17 in 47, but just 10 in the league and scumbagged it in Europa. I'm not belittling it. But it just feels like it's a mixture of Arsenal need a striker. Arsenal are kind of broke. This is one that's kind of standing out. Let's link him with the football club. It just feels like creative journalism. It's a myth. It's a no from me. Sean Dyche's side are understood to be determined to resist Arsenal's interest in Onana, but would like to reinforce their midfield options, although they would only be able to sanction a loan move given the club's financial crisis. Listen, I don't really want to sell him, Everton and Sean Dyche, if you're out there, yeah. And I think it's a case of Mikel Arteta's poor management. Lokonga is better than Onana. We'll give you him. We'll give you him straight swap. I promise you. Lokonga is the next Yaya Toure, just Arts Company, who you were both at Burnley with. Like, please don't sell Onana. I mean, please don't sell Lokonga. The man's amazing. I can't believe Arteta hasn't used him. Arteta should be sacked for that. Sean Dyche, we've got him. We'll give you a straight swap. Put a little sell-on clause for us, though. Sammy Moat Bell has said Victor Osimhen's release clause is 103 million. Let's scrape our pennies together for the summer. Apparently, Saka has played 4,856 minutes in the Premier League over the last 2 years, which is 93% of the available minutes. He's been overworked. Smith Rowe has played just 281. Nelson has played 304 minutes. He's played 87 minutes of Premier League football this season, Nelson, and 304. You need to cut. But the reliance on Saka are running my man into the ground, innit? Once again, Newcastle have made an approach to Bournemouth to sign Solanke, but the Cherries won't sell him this month. Romano, we've already gone over that with Zerki. Real Madrid are set to compete with Arsenal and Chelsea to sign Diamande this month. I don't think we're going to move for him there. Neither Real nor Zubiamendi's entourage can guarantee a day of today that, whatever that means, a day of today that Martin Zubimendi is going to continue in February. MD has learned there are some clubs that want to take him as early as this month. He was linked with Bayern Munich as well and are willing to pay the £60 million release clause or euros. In the Premier League, several want him, although the one that has been talked about the most is Arsenal, and I think he would fit in at City, fit in at Arsenal, would fit in at United, but United's a bit of a mess. He'd be great for Liverpool. Ben Jacobs has said the valuation of Nketiah is relatively transparent. Talking to sources, something in the region of 30 to 35 million. But it's not just about money. Nketiah is still a part of Arsenal's plans, despite the fact Crystal Palace and a few other clubs are looking. I mean, we've got no choice but to have you part of our plans, really and truly. We've already gone over that. See, I don't try and miss a beat for you lot, people. So that seems to be it. Should we go on Google and see if there's anything else? Come on, man. Just for no reason, just to give us better content. Just link us with Mbappe for no reason. Wow. It's a madness for you, Mark Overmars, isn't it? Well, we're set to face competition from Aston Villa for Zubimendi. To be fair, they got Paul Torres. You can't rule them out. What's this? Arsenal reportedly looks set to face competition from Aston Villa for the transfer of Real Sociedad Martin Zubimendi. The 24-year-old Spain international was impressed in his time in La Liga. Arsenal and Villa are both in the top 4 right now. I don't look at the league table. I never knew that. And may consider themselves title contenders, really. Fair enough. I mean, the Spanish link is there, so it makes sense. Big up my guy, Tom Canton. Again, people, at 7 p.m., this video will come out. When this live stream ends, it will take you over there. But that appears to be everything, really and truly, man. What are you guys saying? Zubimendi is waiting for Barca. Bayern Munich, Arsenal. Again, can't blame him. But for all the talk, it was almost we were led to believe that it was a formality move last summer, and Barcelona did a bit of business, Arsenal did, and none came calling for him. Was the move ever as you know, as aggressive as people make out? I don't know. Who keeps scouting these meaty dons? This is what I'm saying, wasting resources. It's easy, run them the money. Would take Broja on loan. We need a top and lethal striker in the summer. Would love to see one of our current academy players given playing time. What young strikers are there right now in the academy? Obviously, John Jules is on loan. Balogun's cut. You know, I'm a big fan of Edwards. I don't think he's going to be able to get a chance to do the business there. Check Eduardo Hang's latest tweet. Not throwing shade, but is his thing 30 though? Like, man can't keep falling for dons with blue ticks and that, you know. Like, I'm sure he knows what he's talking about. No shade, but is he 30 or is he like, what's going on there? Okay, well, you know what? Big up you for keeping me updated nonetheless. He apparently in Sam Dean's article of Joshua Zirkzee and Arsenal, he reiterates the Gunners are plotting a move for 17-year-old Jiro Hato. Get it done. I mean, he's just talking about my man, innit? Apparently, people, Arsenal are interested in Joshua Zirkzee from Bologna. The price of the player is estimated at around 50 million. The deal in Jan is seen as complicated. I mean, logically, you know, whether I rate that Borja Mayoral guy, he's got 12, 13 odd in the league. Joshua's found his feet at Bologna. Naturally, if we're looking at strikers, there's going to be a variety of a list. There's going to be the top ones, the Vlahovics, the Osimhens, the Ivan Tonys, and he's going to be there. 50 million, You never know, because if you spend 50 million, he's a dud. I'm gonna say we bumped ourselves. If he signs for the club and he does wavy stuff, then he's wavy. But 50 million, really and truly, and you don't know, it's mid-season. You don't know if he's gonna adapt in the Prem. He ain't really been announcing himself like the way he is now. I would rather try and tie up Boniface, Vlahovic, Osimhen, Ivan, Tony, one of the Sesko. Try and get one of these things done for the summer. You'd imagine surely 50 million get Sesko from his current employers. I'm not really with it. Now, he wouldn't be the first player that would sign for the club that I didn't rate and they turned well, but I don't know. And I mean, in relation to my man's question here, who would you rather sign for Arsenal's midfielder? Shout that I see 3 midfielders, but Zubiamendi's my sort of player. Just get a few loans for the rest of the season and get over the line. My goodness. Not every signing has to be a permanent one. It's about winning titles at the end. It is, but like, and again, I'm not asking you, but what loans are there? And then even when you break down loans, you have to spend the loan fee as well. Could the loan fee be too expensive? I don't know. Deluded, hope you're well. Thanks for the content, Derek. Thank you for your messages, man. Appreciate that. This big up Woozy in the cut. I mean, I hate you when we stream FM, but this content, you're lit. This striker we're linked with is average. Arteta should go if we don't win anything. Screw this Ivan Tony crap. I'm not buying none of this. There are a lot of strikers we can go for, and they're all better finishes than both Jesus and Miss a lot, Eddie. Harsh, man. More useless players that don't make the team any better. No wonder why we find players hard to sell. Nobody really wants them for the set price and wages. Summer window. I mean, our summer window has to be the best in the world because we're signing everyone in the summer, really and truly. We're signing everyone in the summer. Bare links, man. Make it happen. Kroenke should be questioning the board. They don't make enough money compared to the other top 6 sides in terms of sales. I hear that, but what money does Spurs really make on signings? Yeah, they on sales. They've sold. I'm just answering. I'm just trying to see where you're going. Liverpool make a decent bit of money, but who have they sold recently? Who have Spurs? Yeah, Harry Kane. That's a good effort, but who have they really sold? They can't even flog Spence. Liverpool ain't really sold no one. United don't make peas like that. Who have City sold as well, but they'll make peas. They're a well-run club. I do agree, though, we need to get better at sales because what's been the decent sales of recent memory? Joe Willock, we made decent money. We made decent money, but that wasn't under this regime. Balogun, there was decent money. Austin Trusty, just based on you was here for a year, barely got a sniff of action, and we made a little tidy profit, but we need to get better. DG, I'm hearing Luca Perez 2.0 is coming to the carpet. I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. Even Benzema on a 6-month loan would move the needle. Arsenal got Champions League and Premier League opportunities. It shouldn't be this hard. Assuming Benzema would want to leave Saudi and come play for us. Why does he talk with that funny voice? Because your baby mom likes it, man. Would you imagine? Come on, man. Allow me. If Arsenal don't get more attacking and defensive options in this transfer window, the opportunity to challenge for the Prem or the Champs will become close to impossible. Arsenal need to move. I hear it. To be fair, Benny hasn't come out and said he wants to leave. It's all speculation. I must admit, I have seen these Benzema links on social media, but I can't see an article actually linking us with Donny. It just seems like the Twitter stuff. Imagine if we get Zubiamendi and Onana. Listen, if you could get Zubiamendi, Onana, you got Declan Rice, that would be 268. Bring me one more midfielder and we're lit, man. Mika Beref, he's not at the club though. Like he's been training because Scotland have had a little break and then you're going back, really and truly. I like him, but I don't think any of them are going to make the grade. Would you take Tammy Abraham? Maybe a couple of years ago, but it's a bit like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Your stock's kind of falling, really. Appreciate that, Matt. I want to be the smartest working YouTuber, so it's just down to keep working, man. 50 million for a guy with 7 goals. It's like we don't learn, innit? Arsenal interested in everyone in January. This is not realistic, or at least highly unlikely. So just get 3-4 loans in and move. Leave the serious signings for the summer. And let's just make sure that we're handling our resources correctly. Because if I'm honest, we shouldn't be in this position. We should be in a position where, if we're short in our squad, we could legit say, 50 on Zubiamendi, this on that on the other. I'm not saying be overpriced, because even if we were in a good place financially, according to reports, I would want a striker, but I could understand the reluctance to even pay the money for Ivan Toney or Douglas Luiz and things of that nature, man. Tammy Abraham was scoring goals for Chelsea before he left. He got dropped out of nowhere and got sold to Roma. Of course, it's life. What would we have to pay Benzema? Boy, you're going to have to pay the majority of his loan. Of his wages, and it's a madness. Rooney Bajai would be lit, but I couldn't see it happening. No clue what you're saying there, Queen of the South, but shout out to you. Mane, Solanke, Hendo, Brewster, I think you mean Coutinho, Suarez. Liverpool been making money, but at the same time, a lot of them were years ago. I agree with you. Arsenal need to get better at hustling. This is why I'm so on developing Haaland talents. You don't know me. I'm a big fan of Haaland. I want the impossible dream of 11 players, all from the academy. But if not, you get these little balligans. They've gone on loan. They've done all right. Go and make bread and put that towards players that can help us go where we need to go. You said Liverpool, best example. Like Solanke weren't really doing anything at Liverpool and they made stupid money. Chelsea are going to make stupid money. You know, if they say, you know what, Broja, Gallagher, this guy, that guy, F off, cut, they're making bread. I don't see Arsenal spending in this window, but get Wirtz, Boniface, and Frimpong in the summer, free signings for one team. Would love them all, especially Boniface. Wirtz, I think he's got his eyes set on Real Madrid or Bayern Munich, and I don't know if he leaves this summer or next. How long would you give Arteta without winning a trophy? He won one in August. I don't know, man. I think we're moving into that scenario now where I think Arteta has rebuilt the club. He's shown he can do all of that stuff. And now it's kind of time to look and judge him on, can you win us a league title? And I'm not too sure. I don't think the club are going to move him on. I think he's going to get a new deal. Onana and Rice can run and link up Zubiamendi, keeps his shape as a number 6. Now DG Zubiamendi is a better 6 than an 8. I never said he's an 8. Onana can slot in at both 6 and 8. Onana, you can do the box-to-box thing, but I'm not actually free in the middle, you know, Wakanda and that, but I'm not really on that, man. Unpopular opinion, and I like Onana. I'd prefer to get Douglas Luiz and Zubiamendi. But I hear that. But either way, I want to wake up one day as an Arsenal fan, and we've got Declan Rice, got another guy that can play as a 6, got 2 genuine 8 options, and then you've got the Odegaards and all of them kind of guys. In the same way, Jesus, you could play in the squad, but we've got a certified striker and just genuine better defensive depth. Because if I'm honest, I don't think Arteta is learning from his lessons. And some Arsenal fans as well. Like, we're still doing this if and when Partey's fit and this guy's fit. And I'm not saying we shouldn't, but we've seen this movie, and you know, I'm not trying to be bad mind, but let's assume that Partey gets fit. How long is Donny going to stay fit? And such is life, as we see for all clubs. When a couple players come back from injury, a couple other guys start getting injured. We've seen this before. Like, this is why I praise Arteta for how he's assembled the squad, but I also criticize him because we were dreaming. Our heads were in the skies if we thought our midfield was strong enough. I'm not going to sit here and say I was onto the defense in it. The defense, I hear it. Mistakes could have been made. Midfield was never strong enough. Very naive going to a gunfight with City and Liverpool with blunt knives with our attacking options and relying on the young, volatile, great players, but volatile Saka and Martinelli and Odegaard. Odegaard and Martinelli in particular, last season was their first years where they got double figures. So there was no assurance we was going to do that now. Goals win games. I'm exaggerating, but it feels like Martinelli got 13, 14, 15 odd in the league and Odegaard something similar. So let's just say that's about 20 odd goals out the team already. Arteta himself said we need to be a team that gets 100 goals. You're not going to do that without a bagsman. And even if we sign a striker, it's not a thing where we're going to, you know, the striker's going to score 100 goals on his chase. What when he has that off day? I don't know, man. I'm just a fan. Remember Football Manager 20 with the box-to-box. Onana, Douglas are average players. They look good because there's not a lot of world-class players in centre mid. To be fair, there's many average players I've seen perform and do quite well for Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs have never won anything. As long as you're consistent, competent, reliable, and do what you need to do, not everyone needs to be amazing. The real question is how many players are coming in. If it's only one, it don't really make the difference. I think you need at least 2. I think you need a defensive body, and I think you need a midfield body. I would love to sit here and say we're going to sign a winger or a striker, but I think if you can't get them players with the stardust, let's just make sure the spine of the team is 30, because we've seen this movie before. You know, last season injuries were an issue. I think the season before that, the season before last year, we missed out to top 4 against Spurs. We saw what happened. I don't really rate Noah Lang like that, if I'm honest, but if you get him, I'll support it. Kroos, Goretzka, Koke, De Jong, Pedri, Zubiamendi, Thuram are way better than Onana and Douglas. It's not even the same conversation, really. I don't know what conversation this is. I didn't say anything. Of course, Koke, Koke is a bit overrated for me. Toni Kroos, baller. Goretzka, baller. De Jong, saucy. Would love Pedri, but I'd also love to go on a date with Kelly Rowland. Thuram, I'm not really convinced, but he is doing quite well, and he's definitely a better option than what we have. Wait. I just clocked you're talking about the centre mid Thuram minute. You're not talking about the Inter one, but yeah, bring him. I think he would have moved somewhere had he not have got injured. I'm sure he got injured towards the end of the summer. Decent questions, nonetheless. Decent talking points. Appreciate you lot, nonetheless. Would love Rooney Brijai, but even that, like, how much does he cost? Just do that, man. If I'm honest with you, I'm with you with that one, but It's not going to happen. It's dreamland, dream chasing. We need a striker, midfielder, winger, defender with pace and skills. Defender with pace and skills. I can't lie. I need a defender who's going to defend first. If we don't soon start winning trophies, we'll lose our best players to our rivals. We've seen this story before, ain't we, man? At least they're under contract. So assuming they're doing that can hustle, we should be in a decent negotiating position, man. I don't know, though, man. I do want to win stuff. I mean, who doesn't, really and truly? And it does feel like we're not, for me anyways, we're not necessarily taking the advantage of the opportunity we have, because I won't quite say Liverpool are going through transition, but, you know, they need a 6. City, I want to be ready for when Pep leaves. City will still be there, but, you know, they're going to have teething problems. We should have won the league last year. And regardless of, listen, on the face of it, there's no shame in losing out on a league title to a team who won the treble. But I think every Arsenal fan knows in their heart, we lost that league title for ourselves. In the same way this season, there ain't been too many. We're not invincible. We've dropped points. There's been concerns, but there's been very few times I think we've been outplayed in the league. Now, I would trade places with West Ham, with Newcastle, with Aston Villa, really and truly, and have the 3 points. But I don't think we was outplayed in any of them games. I think the only time I've seen my football club outplayed this season was in the League Cup against West Ham and obviously against Fulham in the Premier League. But that's my point. We shoot ourselves in the foot. We have this ability of making things harder than it needs to be done. The same goes for Fulham at the Emirates, Spurs at the Emirates. Even though we won, Manchester United, at the Emirates. City, cool, we did what we needed to do. Chelsea away. Obviously, these things happen. You know, Luton, really and truly, when you look beyond the romance, and sometimes football's just mad like that, it weren't really good enough. Brentford I kind of allow because they were set up defensively all right, but we weren't really attacking well, and we got the last minute winners. That's the only luxury I give us, in that there's a certain sort of flooring. When you look at all the teams in and around the top 6, I don't look at the league table, but nobody's pulled away from anyone. We're going to drop points. Everyone's going to drop points. We just need to keep it moving, man. We don't need to worry about a left back when we have DG ready to fill in. Fitness on the floor, technical level will be let down, but there'll be a lot of heart, you know. Like if Arteta said play tomorrow, I can't lie. I'm just trying to clamp someone, get the fans going, and I've done my job, but I can't lie. And I want to go up for a corner for no reason and do an Eddie Nketiah thing, just steal or go off the line and do a celebration, and that's me done. Call up Arsenal and get the best 16-year-old he knows about. Trust me, but even you don't know me, I'm a Wenger baby, but you let me down in the last few years, man. You're telling us you knew Kante when he was 14. That's a bit dookie how you knew about that, but bring these guys, man. We should have been having we should have got an Mbappe. I'm dream chasing a bit, but for me as an 28-year-old Arsenal fan who's grown up with the historical French ties, to not have got Mbappe, Dembele, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Kante. I know he's not French, but Riyad Mahrez, these kind of players, it does irk my spirit, if I'm honest. Pep already knows we got Cess, pick him up. Pep already knows he has won the league. When do City nowadays not win something every year? City, innit? Liverpool ain't really that strong, though. You have the potential to smoke these lot. If Arsenal go and beat Palace, Nottingham Forest, and get something with Liverpool, the narrative changes. There's been 19 games played, 19, 20, give or take. As we all know here, a week is a long time in football for all clubs. So imagine 19. Think about all the different talking points and stuff. You go back to August, Fabio Vieira and, pardon me, Eddie Nketiah were 2 of our best players. You know, there was talk about Partey and Tomiyasu done. Now look, so you are right. But I think people discount Liverpool, man. I think when you look at it on the grand scheme of things, Liverpool have always been close to City, and I think Liverpool's an anomaly in that when they did win the Prem and did win the champs, they had a small squad, and obviously Klopp has kind of clocked. Obviously, some players have left, but he's kind of clocked we need a bigger squad, and Liverpool have that experience. This is why I'm so harsh, because I love the romance with what we were doing with the project and the young squad and stuff. But if you're just focusing through the lens of winning a Premier League, City and Liverpool have the experience on us. Whether their players are young or old, they've been there, done it. There's certain consistencies. You know Haaland is bagging, and you know them players are bagging. You know Salah is bagging, and you know other things are happening there. You know Anfield, not too many people want to go there. You know City can go on crazy runs. These are things we can't necessarily say are the case at Arsenal. You know, obviously every team is going to feel the miss. I actually think when you miss of key players, I think when you look at the City game when we beat them, a lot of talk was about, no, Rodri. And obviously Rodri's a sick player, the best in his role in the league and in the world, arguably. But they miss Kevin De Bruyne. So everybody's going to miss something. But who is more likely to be able to cope with certain key players not being there? Liverpool, City, or Arsenal? Now, Liverpool are probably more closer to us if you take an Alisson or a Van Dijk or a Trent out. But you get the point. We are 5 points off playing average football. We start playing at our best second half. Not one club can take all 3 off off of us. I hear that. Kevin De Bruyne is back from injury. Quality player, man. Would you take Cuba? I like him a lot. And then obviously marketing him and Tomiyasu tap into the Asian market a bit like if you go and get Osimhen. Kirio, Fabio, Tavares, Havertz, Jorginho, in brackets, Eddie, El Nene, Nelson extensions, all on Arteta and Edu. These man got to bounce. Our club is meaty. They have to hold it because obviously signings can go wrong. And I think the wickedest thing out of all them names you said there, yeah, I think Jorginho's been calm. Like, obviously, we shouldn't have signed him, and well, arguably, and he's not the guy. I think Jorginho's been a lot better. Kirio, I like him, but I don't believe in you. I'll be real. Like, I don't. You're not giving me nothing to support. Fabio Vieira, I think you need to go gym and eat food, and it's kind of boring now. In that, I do feel sorry for you. You work. There was a time Arteta's playing you out wide, and when you signed for the club, you had Xhaka centre mid, you had Odegaard, the captain and key players. You're not getting in there, but it feels like Fabio Vieira looks good in his little cameos. Then he gets a start, he does well. Then he does well in another start, and there's 3-4 games he's amazing, and he reverts back to type. I think we've got a lot of those kind of man in the squad. If I'm completely honest with you, Tavares. Told you, look, when he signed and when we went through what he said on Arsenal.com, you know, when you hear a defender, you want to hear, yeah, I want to defend 1v1. He's talking about, I like to shoot with my right foot. Meaty, forget about it. Havertz, Arteta, you're wasting the peas. I think Havertz has done okay, but you don't move the needle. You're not a difference maker. I actually think you did all right against Liverpool, but you couldn't score. When has Kai Havertz shown us that he's clinical in front of goal? He could sit here and say, DG, shut your mouth. I've scored in the Champions League final. You've never did that. To which I'll show you my Sunday League clip, and then we can all see whose goal was better regardless. But if you're relying on Kai Havertz to bag and make the difference, again, all the other aspects of playing up front, he did it right. But if you're asking Kai Havertz to score goals, bro, you've got to be crazy. You know, Havertz has never shown he's a goal scorer. Jesus has never shown he's the man to bag them goals. Zinchenko has never shown he could defend amicably. And I'm not saying to not have these lot in the squad because I think they've all got a use, but use them appropriately. Arsenal take players that should be on the peripheral. We make them rotations. We take rotation options and make them first team regulars. And 4 or 5 games, it's amazing. The sun's shining. But you see, when the Prem gets ugly, when the world gets ugly, when football gets ugly and unforgiving, there's only a couple men in this team that can do what needs to be done. You know, how many players are you going to bet your life on throughout 38 games? For at least 25 of those, they're going to play to a certain level. I would say Gabriel. I would say Saliba. I would say, without obviously getting onto it for scoring, I would say Jesus. I would say Saka. To a degree, Odegaard. I don't know if I've said Declan Rice already, but him. Other than that, you're scratching your head. You look at Liverpool, all of them guys are going to turn up. City, all of them guys are going to turn up, apart from probably Sergio Gomez. He probably, I just remembered he was at the club purely because I saw an article about him. So yeah, and at the same time, I know signings get wrong, but this is why the success rate has to be better because, you know, Kirio was about 20 million. Fabio Vieira was 30. That's 50 odd million quid already. You know, 50 odd million. You throw in Havertz for 65, you're getting near 100 if you haven't gone past that. Tavares was like 8, 9, 10 million. Could this money have been utilized better? For me, I hear what people say about Musa Diaby, but someone like Kudus, that should be at the club. I'm not going to lie to you. But what do I know, man? Obviously, you know, Spenyon Eriksson, that news is crap, man. And hopefully, you know, he's proven wrong and he gets longer to live. But it sounds cliche, thought so with his family. And it just shows that, you know, life is short. You've got to really accomplish stuff. And to be fair, we keep everything crossed that he stay alive. But you have to judge your life on the legacy you've created. And, you know, through football, he's been a football manager and he's touched a lot of lives, man. Would you take Marcus Edwards as a backup for Saka? He went to the same secondary school as me. So, yeah, and I won't say this again, but I saw you in Carnival. I saw you in Carnival. Just like, what's that you used to play for Arsenal? Kylon Hines. I saw you at Carnival. There's another former Arsenal man that I saw at Carnival as well. And I'm not going to lie, I see a couple of the young players at Carnival and I look at them. I don't say anything. I'm like, you're not going to bust you. You're not serious. Problem is Arsenal want to buy quantity, unfortunately, not quality. I just think Arteta is on this captain saver whole thing. Like, you show any player that needs a bit of love that can play in a bunch of roles, Arteta's onto you. Sell Ramsdale, get cheaper keeper and Smith Rowe, bring back Patino and buy a player or two. I wouldn't be doing that in January if I'm honest. Where's Marquinhos? I need to see his passport. You're not Brazilian, man. Nah, shot that. I think they're trying to cancel his loan, if I'm honest. Man said Sunday League scream on media header. I hear that. Come on, people. We all have eyes. Everyone, even the tap fans, can see Arteta ain't the guy. Harsh, man. 650 million in 4 seasons. No Arsenal manager has been back to this extent, and Arteta needs to be held accountable for underperforming with said resources at his disposal. He needs to hold face to music in that. I'm here with that. Is Kevin De Bruyne in the same convo as Iniesta and Zidane? Not for me. I mean, he can, you know, if it was a nightclub, he'd get a pass, but not for me, man. Not for me. Not for me. Kevin De Bruyne lit. But Zidane, you're not talking to Zidane. I don't think you can do anything. Well, you can do things better than Iniesta and vice versa. And I'm sure all three can do things better, but I don't think you're not talking to Iniesta, you're not talking to Zidane. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're ballers, if I'm honest with you. Kevin De Bruyne is better than Modric and all these big names. Big up Kevin De Bruyne, but Modric. Big Luka Modric. I think Kevin De Bruyne will tell you himself Modric's better than him still. That's a madness. I trust Edu has the right striker lined up for us, but I just don't think we'll get the business done in Jan. It's notoriously difficult to get deals done in the mid-season window. I hear that, but then we should be in a scenario where get me a defender and a midfielder, or we've already got these things in the summer, and kind of like what we did a few years ago, where there's where we just hold off with a striker. Really, I don't think there's any. I think Edu and Arteta, any successes or failures is on them because there's been money. You've spent better in other areas, mismanaged in others, and I think there's elements of being naive. We need quantity when a bunch of them ruled Deadwood. But how is Modric underrated? I didn't say he's underrated. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Man can't big up Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne can't talk to Modric. Let's be serious. I love Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not trying to rub him out, but come on, bro. Luka Modric. Fair enough. Let the boys live, DJ. I hear it. DJ, are you Arteta in or out? Not either, really. I think there's reasons to keep him. I think there's question marks. You know, if you can bring, I'm not saying this to necessarily keep Mikel Arteta, but if you could find me the next Pep Guardiola or someone that can do what I want Arteta to do, and Arteta is unable to, Arteta's safe. Let's keep it moving, really and truly. I'm not just gonna say get the manager out. I'm 100% convinced on Mikel Arteta and everything he does. I think you're a liar if you say that. Do I think he's 100% the negative things? I think if you say that, you're a liar as well. I'm just in the middle right now. I don't think right now, would I sack him today 100%? I wouldn't. But if we get to May and the metrics aren't metricing, then I think there needs to be questions because it's Arsenal FC, not Arteta. And for me, one of the biggest fears I have about this club, this can't all be in vain. Like, you can't make all of these mistakes and do these good things and we have nothing to show for it. My biggest fear is Arteta goes off somewhere else and there's certain situations that he's felt he's been in at Arsenal elsewhere and he says, you know what? I did that at Arsenal. It didn't work. Let me do the opposite. It does feel like there's this reluctance to criticize Mikel Arteta to the point where you're seen as hating or getting at the guy or doing personal things. If you ask questions, you can't big the guy up and say he's got this, that, the other, and the third. And, you know, at one point, Arsenal fans are sitting there and say, oh, you know, we don't fear no one in Europe and this and that, and not ask questions. It can't always be the players when things go wrong. In the same way, I don't advocate just getting at people for no reason. I think everybody has to share the L's and the W's. You know, Mikel Arteta, indirectly, everything on the football field is your fault, good and bad. I think the players aren't putting the ball in the back of the net. I think recently he's coached great game plans, but they're struggling. But then why are they? Because the caveat is if every attacker is struggling, then maybe there's something the gaffer's not doing. For me, I don't feel our play in the final third has that healthy sort of randomness. I think the biggest issue I have with Mikel Arteta is since we've won the FA Cup, and I said it when we went out, I wouldn't say he's been disrespecting it, but we've been embarrassing ourselves in it. I have concerns about Mikel Arteta in the latter stages of European competition, and with us going to play Porto, I'm going to see how you navigate that. I think Mikel Arteta is suffering from what his former manager Wenger had in that you're putting trust in certain players. I don't think he spent the resources well on the large part. I do think there's been some great signings and some have been well, but I don't think that, you know, you've done well enough, really. I don't think Kai Havertz should be at the club. I don't think he's been the most terrible player, you know, of the last recent games and stuff, but you don't get us closer to where we need to get to. I think your reliance on someone like Eddie Nketiah rather than finding another striker is an issue. And if people sit there and say, oh, but FFP was probably there in the summer, I hear that. But look at the spending we've been doing without Europe. If there's limited resources, because we haven't been budgeting correctly. Why wait till we've got £3 in our account to sit there and go, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to cut the Netflix. Maybe I need better spending habits. If we're in the issues due to FFP, it's because of Edu and Arteta, really. You know, again, the Kroenkes have been giving man peas, bro. Like, the peas have been there. Like, In the same way I big you up for Jesus, Zinchenko, all of these, Declan Rice, the P's have been there. You gave Aubameyang a new deal and ripped up, and things of that ilk. So we'll have to see. One thing I hear you, DG, we don't know what's going on in the club with the finances, with the team, with the transfers. Exactly, we're only fans. And I don't doubt that there is, we've tried to do certain things and whatnot. But if the same way, if the players try to win a game and they don't win, thank you for trying. But why didn't we? If we do or don't bring in signings, you have to be judged correctly, really and truly. If the players can be got, even fucking, pardon my language, fans are being criticized. Oh, the atmosphere isn't what it used to be at the Emirates anymore. So why can't I ask questions of the manager without being called a hater and things like that? I don't care if Arteta works out not being the guy. Get a new manager. If he is the guy, great. I've got nothing. I think too many people want to be right. Oh, I never believed in Arteta. Oh, I've always believed in Arteta. They're both dishonest. There's a lot to like about him. There's a lot to be concerned about the individual. There's a lot of self-inflicted things I think Arteta and Arsenal do on and off the field. So, yeah, man, if I'm honest. After the Liverpool game, I think Josh said 1-2 to Arteta because Arteta's latest interview, the energy was coming low. And even playing devil's advocate, I wouldn't blame KSC if they said, Arteta, there's no more peas for you right now, because you've had peas. Obviously, I want them to bring the bread because we need to bring in some players, but these lot haven't been managing it correctly. Modric doesn't even get mentioned led in the best centre mids in our league. Yeah, I mean, he was rubby at Spurs. He wasn't even rubby at Spurs. He was doing his thing, but that's cool. He wouldn't be the first or the last player that struggled in one league and gone and performed in another. Bro, I hear that, but man can't belittle Modric's thing, man. Do you think Lino will get a shot at left back or not? You never know, but I can't see the Haaland boys getting any opportunities right now. I hope so, though. Modric ain't better than Xavi, and he has to say, though. Modric still say, winning ways, big up yourself, but what did Modric do to you? You're too on him, man. You're too on him. If Arteta leaves and joins Barca, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls an Emre. I think we need to keep improving our system first. I hear it. When Kevin De Bruyne retires, you'll look back. He'll be one of the... I mean, Kevin De Bruyne is one of the best centre mids of recent time and definitely one of the best players in the Premier League to have ever kicked the ball, 100%. I don't know. I think Modric... I don't think he's talking to Modric. Steven Gerrard's better than Modric. I hear that, man. I don't know what Modric did to you, man. What did Modric do? You've been grafting for time now. Fair play to you, Nick. Appreciate you. What team is that? You got agent, fella. You look like a footballer. You got agent. Chat to me, man. Chat to me. Let's get this going. R.I.P. Mino Renola. It's time to get that on. Today's fans are automated. Stats are not the only way to judge a player. I think you need stats and the eyes. But some people, you look at Arsenal's certain statistics in isolation, are actually improving a tenfold. Now, that can give you some confidence that it's a case of things will get back to going, but you can just use that to help you sleep at night. My eyes are telling me that we're not learning we're being a bit naive. Modric is massively overrated. Come on, bro. Big Luka Modric. I hear it, man. I always say I don't tell you what to think, just think. Fair enough. Modric overrated. That's scary, man. That's scary. A world-class striker would raise their confidence. If it's just signing a player raises players' confidence, then smash the like button, people. Can we get to 100? We've got 78 so far. Big up you lot who have. Then I have to question mark the players. The players need to have that resolute stuff in that a run of bad games doesn't mean you're a bad footballer. When things are going good and there's a good of run games, don't think you're better than you are. Just cool, man, and level-headedness. And I don't think there's enough of those kind of players in our team. I don't know them, never had a conversation with them. Maybe they do think like that. But I think there's too many players when things are going well. I'm seeing players do things that I would never have thought they would have done, etc., etc. Like I only Saliba, Declan Rice, Saka, and a couple of others. Gabriel, I think your mentality is spot on. Couple man are not really with that, and you need 11 players like that to start a game. You need about a 20-odd man squad like that. There's a pattern of promotion within many Arsenal roles. Eddie could promote Mertesacker after Arteta. I mean, is Mertesacker keen to do the management thing properly? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen Modric slander, man. DG, you argue with goal assist merchants. These men don't watch nor love the game like that. I hear it, man. I hear it. Managers like Spalletti are at home chilling. These men let the intern run the multi-million-pound company for 4 years. Boy, man. Boy. The worry will be if Arteta goes, who the hell do we bring in? I don't know, but And I hear you, and that is a concern, but that can't be used as a merit to keep him. Find something, make something happen. If we really have a project, as a club should have, if we have a philosophy and a project and a working way of how we want to do things, then find someone that reflects that. It can't just be Mikel Arteta. The man never kicked a ball for the football club. Really. I mean, he did kick a ball. Never managed a game for this football club. So that there has to be someone else. You can't. I do think that is something to consider when we talk about sacking, but that can't be used as a merit to just keep someone. Make something happen. It's not like we're losing Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger, Sir Alex Ferguson. I'm not trying to belittle Arteta, but if it was one of them larger-than-life managers, I hear it. Make it happen. Really cool. Arteta's got some great tactics. Cool. Find the next man with great tactics. Okay, he's improved young players. Find the next man who can do that. Not going to lie, Jabi Alonso, I know you got your eye on Liverpool, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich, but living in London's kind of good, you know. Spalletti is Italy's head coach. Seen the Mariah rumours, people are fun. They're already comparing him to Lucas Perez. Thoughts on Hansi Flick? Like him a lot, man. I didn't hear you anyone screaming Modric when Iniesta, Rakitic, and them man were around. Come on, behave. Man said Rakitic, behave. Big up Rakitic, he was a baller. Behave. Man tried sliding the Rakitic one. Rakitic a baller, but he's not fit enough to lace Modric's boots, mate. Allow it, man. We need last year pre-season Jesus back. We need everything, man. It's long for us right now, man. People already Arteta out. It was all good just a week ago. Winning ways. You got agenda against Modric. I mean, he's ex-Spurs, man, but man trying to slide in Rakitic. Allow it, bro. Rakitic is 30, but he's not talking to Modric. I know they're countrymen and that he's not talking to Modric. Rakitic was a baller, and I'm sure you lot would have seen Rakitic actually had a trial once upon a time at Arsenal. We need God. We need everything, man. You know, whatever religion you lot believe in, do what needs to be done, man, and hope that there's better days to come. I'd argue the positive changes Mikel has made to this club far outweighs the mistakes he's made. It has, but that's what I mean in that from Arteta, when he walked in to, you know, last season, cool. Big you up for that. Now, if we're looking and starting to move towards a team that's going to get to the latter stages of the Champions League, fight for the Prem, the rules have to get a bit harder. And not just him and all of these players, really. It's a different light. Arteta has shown that you're the man that can help us rebuild. Are you the man to deliver a Premier League trophy? Only time will tell. I don't think we're winning the Premier chance for what it's worth. As I've said in August, I don't look at the league table. I'm just happy to be here and ride the highs and lows with my subscribers on YouTube and Twitch, people. But yeah, big up you lot, though. I'm just aware that I've got another live, well, not a live stream. I've got another video to do. At 7 p.m, a video is coming out with Tom Canton. So check that out, where I asked him, should Arteta actually be sacked if we don't win major honours? And we spoke about a bunch of other things. You lot, your talking points, your differences of opinion, even winning ways with the Modric slander. You lot have been amazing. It's always amazing to be here with you lot. Any potential Arsenal news, rumours, talking points, etc., you can rest assured that live streams and videos on my channel will follow. If you ain't hit the like button or subscribe, then what are you doing? One love to those of you who have already. And I hope you lot are having a great start to 2024. I hope you and your loved ones are in great health. And yeah, big up you lot, man. We'll link up again. If you're on YouTube, check out my YouTube community tab. I'm going to record a video with Art DeRoche, who obviously is a journalist for The Athletic. If you have any questions you'd like me to cover, then please get them in before 4 p.m. UK time. You have under just half an hour, people. So yeah, people, big up you lot. All this talk about Xavi, Iniesta, and them, man, big up Zidane, because Zidane can talk to my goal, but you're done.
Against this right,
Hey, I will say I'm a one-goal wonder. I'll say when they ever did it.
Because you always use that active red light defending. I've been given like. Because you always use that active red light defending. I've been given like.